Okay, welcome back everyone. We begin now the third Pirkei Shmona Perakim. We saw the Akdama and the first and second Perakim. I don't think we need to make a recap. Let's get straight into it. So the title of this Perek that the Rambam gives is B'chol Yei HaNefesh. That is concerning the diseases of the soul. Now, when we talk of Chol HaNefesh, we usually what comes to mind is someone who is disturbed, mentally compromised person. That's what we call today Chol HaNefesh. The Rambam, that's not what the Rambam is talking about. The Rambam, that type of Chol HaNefesh is what the Rambam would call a Chol HaGuf, because that person is mentally compromised. That's a physiological. There's something. We're not talking about that. When the Rambam is talking about a Chol HaNefesh, he's referring to someone who is imbalanced, and his nefesh hamasar, his appetite of soul, is imbalanced and dysfunctional. Why is it so important? Again, this is a recap of the end of the first perek, where the Rambam says that the seichel is the tzura to the choimer, to the guf of the person. So a person has matter. The matter of the person is his guf, his body. That is the physical machinery. And then there is the form. The form is what gives it its purpose, what gives it its identity. And once we understand that, we can utilize it. And then, as we said, in the metaphor of the analogy that we used, it was to win the race ultimately. So the das, the seichel, is the ultimate form of the person. That's the tzura, and we understand that in order to be able to get to the race, we need to have a functional machine. So we're now focusing on the general machine, and the Rambam says that the milas and the chesronos of a person concerning what he needs to take care of are in the appetite of soul. That is where the desires of the person, the taivas of the person, the drive, all that is what we are. That's what we're concerned, and that is the Chol HaNefesh that we're talking about. These are the diseases and dysfunctions that we're concerned about. Amru Akadmoinu. So the ancients, he's referring probably to Aristotle, they said, La nefesh briyos v'choyli k'masha leguf briyos v'choyli. Ubriyos ha-nefesh hi, sheyit chunesev v'tchunes chalkeh. Okay. First, let's say what the Rambam is saying. The Rambam is drawing an analogy that he did before, and he's going to expound on it more and more, and that is that we're using the physical body and the health and ailments of the physical health and ailments as an analogy to the soul. And he says like this: the Kadmonim said that just like the body, everyone understands and everyone sees that there's a physical disease and there's a healthy body and then there's a sick body. Now, what is a healthy person? A healthy person is when all his parts and work together and they function optimally, and so that's a healthy person. So when we're talking about the soul, you have a healthy soul. A healthy soul, the Rambam says, the Rambam's description is, that it always acts appropriately, meaning in every matzav, it acts the way it's supposed to act, and good in a good way. It expresses itself in goodness and properly. So there's three things he says. First of all, the way a healthy soul, when you see a healthy person with a healthy soul, that is that he consistently, Talmud is a very important word, he consistently, dependably, he acts in a kind way and in an appropriate way. Now, why is it so important that it's consistent? Because even healthy people, sometimes, there's a fluke. You don't judge a person based on a fluke. So either way, right? Even some sick people can have 2 days that they act, relatively normal, And some normal people can have ups and downs where suddenly they get out of their, something extreme extreme situations sometimes can shake up people, even healthy people, and vice versa. And so you can't judge anyone based on the extremities. We're judging a person, let's just say, obviously, someone that's even more healthy, you could, but let's just say basically, let's talk about 80% of the people. We're not going to judge them how they look when they're under extreme stress or when they're on vacation. Because even sick people might look good on vacation, even healthy people might look, not okay when they're under extreme stress. So let's talk about 80% of the people, 80% of the time. Your average day. That's how we're going to judge a person, if that person is healthy or not. Now, your average mundane day. If someone is consistently, dependably, kind and acts properly, that is a healthy person. And someone that on an average day acts consistently improper and not in the opposite of kind, I don't know if it's only cruel or selfish or self-absorbed, whatever it is, roim, bad, evil, then that is a sick soul. Now, so let's just read what he says. Inside, the soul has health and disease, just like the body does. And a healthy soul is that its faculties and its expressions would express itself in a way that it would consistently do the good and kind things. The appropriate and kind and good things. Good, kind, and appropriate. And the disease, the deficiency expresses itself that it would dependably do bad, evil, wrong things. Okay. Now, Brias Aguf belongs to the subject matter of Brias Aguf, that is physical ailments and health. That is, and treatment is something you'll learn in medical school. That is not something we're concerned. So, the physical issues. Oh, I think you're not here. That we welcome. That you'll learn here. Take a copy. This is not. This is a different translation, but yeah. That's something you learn in medical school. Fine. So that's not something we're concerned about. Now he says like this. This is Moedik. He says the way to judge. Sometimes, so not everyone's a doctor. So how do you know if someone's sick? Let's talk about physical ailment. How do you know if someone's sick? Because people are designed naturally to do what's right for them. Let's talk physically. People naturally like to eat food that's good for them. Now today, we live in a shtickle interesting situation because we have so much and we have access to so much sugar and so much carbs and garbage and things that are not healthy for us. But naturally, you can see by animals. Animals, if they see food that's meant for them, you're going to see that a cow won't eat meat, it's going to eat grass, and a lion is going to eat meat and it won't eat processed foods. Sometimes if you put down like real processed foods in front of animals, they won't eat it because they know it's not good for them, and it doesn't talk to them, right? So we are designed to eat things that are good for us and healthy for us. Sometimes, like by babies, you can see it, right? If you babies for sure, like you see babies before they mess themselves up, or before their parents mess them up, then they eat naturally. They eat mother's milk, and so if you offer them alternatives, they might not necessarily want it, and all alternatives that we want them to eat have to either taste similar or have similar components. Now, so a person is designed to eat what's good for them. Now, if you see a person craving coal, and this is a real medical condition, so everyone knows that, let's say pregnant women, they crave certain foods. So sometimes they'll, I read this, that craving ice, let's say, it has to do with the iron deficiency. Some people that crave salty foods have other deficiencies, and sometimes they have real electrolyte issues if they crave salt and sodium. And people who crave sugar. So some people that are diabetic, let's say, crave extreme sugar cravings. So obviously a lot of people like to have sugar, but then when people have extreme sugar cravings, they just can't get enough. So usually you have to get yourself checked out. So now the idea is that when you see someone, we're judging now symptomatically. I don't know what's going on the inside, but when I see a person chewing on blocks of salt or eating coal or just can't stop taking sugar, then that is symptomatic of a deeper problem. This person does not have a cold problem. Okay, there's a deeper this person physically is sick. If a person is biting on coal and on paper, and these are things that actually really happen, then this person has a problem, because this person their senses are confused. Okay, so their senses being confused are symptomatic of a deeper root issue that makes this person think that this is good for them. So this person has a deficiency. Okay, this is where it all starts, and this is where the Rambam is trying to take us. This person has a deficiency, and this person feels the deficiency. Now, the deficiency is so strong that it dominates, it takes over the person, and it confuses the senses, and it tells the person, this is what you need. And this person excessively is going to eat a whole bunch of salt, and salt is not going to solve his problems. But me, as someone who's standing on the side, sees this person eating salt, I know that this person has a certain deficiency and has to go for medical help. And if this person won't go for medical help, this person is going to die. Right? So in some cases, it's okay. This person ate a lot of ice, and this person maybe has an iron deficiency. But if it's a diabetic who's just eating a tremendous amount of sugar, so it might not happen in one day, but this person is going to die eventually if they don't go for the real medical help. And so again, if they come to someone who's not a medical professional, so that person is going to look, and this person is going to say, okay, stop eating sugar. The problem is this person's eating sugar for a reason. This person is eating sugar to compensate for something, to quench a certain thirst that he has. It's not a natural thirst. So this person is messed up. This person, there's something going on that's deeper than that. And by saying stop eating sugar, you're not helping this person. You're actually compromising this person. So that's why you need to be a doctor. Okay. Now, so the Rambam applies the same thing to the soul. A person naturally wants to be good. People are created to do good, to do the right thing. Normal temperament, normal expression, that's the problem. Like we said last time, if you see a 50-year-old guy pushing by a kiddush, and there's cake, and he's pushing, and he's trying to get this person, he might have a food issue, but the food is not his issue. There's an underlying problem, and if he doesn't understand this, if he doesn't understand that a 50-year-old guy should not be pushing by a kiddush to grab a piece of cocoa, this person has an emotional issue that's deeper than anything else, and if this person doesn't address it, and even if he only addresses the food aspect of it, it's a distraction. Now, it expresses itself there just like someone else is eating coal. This person that's eating coal physically doesn't have a coal issue. The person has an underlying issue. The same way, this person that's pushing by a kiddush, this person, besides being socially off and not getting certain things, this person has an underlying issue. That's what the Rambam says. Because their senses are confused. They confuse what's sweet and bitter. They confuse one with the other. And they think that they'll think that something is good and wholesome when it isn't. And they're going to crave, and they'll have pleasure from things that a healthy person doesn't take pleasure from. And not only that, certain healthy people would have tsar from it, right? These are things that are detrimental to a person's health, and therefore a healthy person, you can see this even sugar, right? So I think we could speak as a collective that we all have a sugar issue. We all have a carb issue, a sugar issue. We all have this problem. Okay, it's not our fault. This is the situation we were born into. Now, if someone works on themselves and gets out of that sugar addiction, then if they remove themselves from it, and sometimes if you have a grandfather, some type of like European grandfather, that they're like fech, was este the garbage, right? Like why this nash, this junk, and it's really disgusting to him. He's not trying to be. It's really disgusting, and it should be, because no one wants to eat that. The problem is that we're addicted to sugar to the point that we confused our senses. We don't know what's healthy. We don't know what's good. And we don't. And that's a confusion that we cause ourselves. And the same thing a person does emotionally. So just like you see, so that's the Rambam says, that when you see someone that's eating, right, very tannic, very acidy things, very sour things, or he says people eat coal and sand and these type of things, there's something wrong with them. And healthy people don't do that. So symptomatically, we see how it expresses itself, and that tells us that this person needs an overall, this person needs a serious, these blood tests that they give you 3 pages that you can't even read them, like 1 million. So this person needs an overall scan. What's going on with this person? Why is he eating coal? Now, this person that's pushing by a kiddush, he needs to go for a full scan. This guy, what's going on with him? What's his relationship to food? What's his relationship with people? Why is he pushing? What's going on? There's something seriously wrong. So that's what the Rambam says. Ken choyle nefashis. Ritzoni loymar haroim ubalei chisoros. People that are deficient and people that are just I don't know what the roim. They're people that are just like sick and bad and evil. And so all of these types of people, they think that good is bad and bad is good. And they're always going to want the extremes. And this is the Rambam's key. The symptom to define a sick person is if he's extreme. Now, that's something we're going to see in length in the next parak. But people that are not, that don't have, like what we called last time, emotional equilibrium. The people that are not healthy people, they are naturally going to cling to the, whoever that is, hold on. They're naturally going to cling to the, they're naturally going to cling to the extremes. So, and the extremes are definitely terrible, and they're going to think that it's good, and that's the problem. Okay, so let's just make a shtickle sikum, because I think this person, we look from the side. So first of all, this analogy is beautiful, and we're going to work off that for the next while. And this is compare a person's emotional state to his physical state. And just like symptomatically you judge a person, when he eats things that are bad for him, that reflects on an underlying general issue. The same way when a person acts emotionally inappropriately, and emotionally extreme, by the way, that's always the best, that's always key. When a person acts improper for the situation at hand. So every situation has the natural reaction that a person is supposed to react. And if a person acts improperly, one way or the other way to the extreme, completely passive or completely aggressive, then this person is not doing well. And if a person consistently is the key, and if a person consistently reacts to all different types of situations in extreme ways, then this person is a fundamentally sick human being. And that is the disease. He has a diseased soul. Now, I think we are all, we could all take responsibility for such a... Now, I think a good... So there's a real problem over here. And the Rambam is going to address that problem. That is, how do I know? Who's the judge for that? So the Rambam is going to answer that in a minute. And maybe we'll see that tomorrow. But I think that in a certain sense, we all know the answer for that. And that is that while you're in the moment, while a person's caught up in the moment, he can't judge anything. So he thinks, again, his problem is, and that's like the person that's eating ice, because that person thinks that that's good for them. So this person, when he reacts in a certain way, when he pushes by he thinks that's okay. He thinks that that's fine. And, or he doesn't understand how bad it is. Or sometimes people really act in extreme ways, and they'll tell you all the reasons why they do. But in him, if you're intellectually honest with yourself, and if you're in touch with yourself, and you're in touch with your emotions, you know when you stepped out of bounds and when you didn't. Again, certain people don't have self-awareness, and these people are even, I wouldn't say they're extreme cases, because I don't know, I think that that's pretty normal. But unfortunately, but again, it depends on the self-awareness of a person. But I think a lot of us, even if our senses are messed up, and even if sometimes we act, not only sometimes, even if we consistently overreact or underreact or don't act in the right way, an appropriate, good, kind ways, like the Rambam said, but we know. You know when you screamed at your child, you know when you were wrong. You can make excuses, it was for chinuch, you know that you were wrong. And you know that you could have done it differently. And you know that when you're in a better mood and when you're emotionally in a better place, you don't act like that. So if you're self-aware, and maybe that's what you really have to go on with today, and tomorrow we'll see the other part of it, you yourself try to be the judge. Try to figure out, what does your conscience tell you? There's a Divrei Cheskel, Shinaviru, in Parshas Shemois. He talks about Moshe Rabbeinu, when Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Mitzri. So Moshe Rabbeinu, afterwards, after Moshe Rabbeinu killed the Mitzri, he went to Midian, he ran to Midian, and he saw the girls over there, Yisro's daughters by the well, and he saved them. So he says that Moshe Rabbeinu, after he killed the Mitzri, he wasn't sure that he did the right thing, because it was an extreme thing to do. Now, extreme could sometimes be the right thing, because if that's the appropriate thing at that time, then that has to be done. So Moshe Rabbeinu did something radical, and he didn't know if he did the right thing, and his conscience was like hurting him. Did I do the right thing? Was that the only Was that the only way I could have solved the problem? And Moshe Rabbeinu judged that he'll see what the next action he's going to do, because mitzvah gereres mitzvah and avera gereres avera. That means that when you're in a healthy cycle, then usually one good thing brings another good thing. And when you're in a bad cycle, then you're just going to go on a downward spiral. So Moshe Rabbeinu judged that I'm going to see, based off my trajectory, I'll see if what I did was needed. So then Moshe Rabbeinu saw that the next thing that he did was an act of kindness, and he saved the girls over there from the Roim. So he said, now he understood that what he did originally was the right thing. Now, obviously, that's Moshe Rabbeinu, and the key over here is self-awareness. I think the whole Vart is beautiful. The point is, a person has to be self-aware, always to be in touch with his own emotions, because I think, again, besides someone who's completely messed up, but I think many of us, we know, even though we tend always to make the wrong decisions, we know when we made the right decision and when we made the wrong decision. And we definitely have it with food, right? Even though physically we always know, right? You feel, there's a certain way you feel when you wake up on time and when you wake up late. Even though you don't have the control, and even though maybe the fact that you can't wake up on time it reflects on a bigger problem that you don't have motivation and whatever it is, but you know when you woke up on time, you feel good, and when you daven and when you went to your shir, you feel good, and when you ate garbage, you feel like a piece of garbage. So we know that if you're in touch with yourself, that is the first step. Detect when you feel good about yourself and when you don't feel good about yourself. When you don't feel good about yourself, read your own symptoms. Now, a person shouldn't be their own doctor. We're going to talk about going to the doctor tomorrow. But I think in the basic level, what we all need to know is read your symptoms. Do you think you're expressing yourself in a healthy way? Do you think that, read your blood test. Are your reactions appropriate? Are your actions balanced? Are they the proper responses? Are they kind and good? I think we all have plenty of cheshbon nefesh to do in that. And once we understand that, first of all, that itself would motivate us to go look out for help. And we all need help. And you don't have to be embarrassed to be help. And again, help doesn't mean sitting on a couch and whatever. The help we'll discuss tomorrow. But now, what we need to take away from this piece over here is that the Rambam says, compare emotional, nafshi is the soul, health and disease, to that of the body. And we read a sick person based on their symptoms, and a healthy person based on consistent, healthy patterns. That's how we assess, healthy versus sick. And once we understand that, we'll move on to Mitzvah tomorrow. We'll see what we do about it.